Welcome to Beyond Binary, where we explore real-world events through logic, technology, and context. Today we're diving into one of the most controversial and emotionally charged stories of 2025. The recent action taken by Israel against activists attempting to reach Gaza, the protests that followed, and the shutdowns that have rippled across major cities around the world. Let's start with what actually happened. In late 2025, a flotilla of boats, filled with activists, humanitarian workers, journalists, and well-known figures, set sail with the aim of breaking the Israeli naval blockade on Gaza. Their goal was symbolic: to deliver humanitarian aid, raise awareness, and challenge the ongoing restrictions that have severely limited movement and supplies in the Gaza Strip. As the flotilla neared Gaza's maritime borders, Israeli naval forces intercepted the vessels. Using speedboats and drones, commandos boarded the ships, ordered the activists to stand down, and redirected them to Israeli ports. Many of those on board were detained, questioned, and later deported. Israel defended the operation as a lawful action to maintain security, arguing that the blockade is essential to prevent weapons from entering Gaza. But the activists tell a different story. They claim that their mission was purely humanitarian and that their treatment after detention was harsh. Overcrowded cells, long interrogations, denial of rest, and psychological intimidation. Among the detained were prominent global figures, whose arrests sparked worldwide outrage and immediate demonstrations. To understand the deeper meaning of these events, we must examine why these flotillas exist in the first place. Gaza has been under a strict blockade since 2007. Israel justifies it as a necessary measure to stop arms smuggling to militant groups like Hamas. However, critics argue that the blockade has created a humanitarian crisis, limiting access to food, medicine, construction materials, and freedom of movement. These flotillas are not just about aid, they are acts of civil disobedience, floating protests designed to challenge the legitimacy of the blockade in the eyes of the world. Following the detentions, protests erupted globally. From London to Los Angeles, from Paris to New Delhi, streets filled with demonstrators demanding accountability and the release of activists. Many of these protests evolved into what are known as shutdowns. But what exactly is a shutdown? A shutdown is a deliberate act of disrupting normal daily life, blocking roads, halting traffic, or occupying public spaces to force attention toward a cause. It's a form of non-violent resistance aimed at creating visibility through disruption. Think of it as a symbolic pause, a way to say, if you won't hear us, we'll make you notice us. During the recent protests, activists blocked major highways and intersections. In cities like Los Angeles, key roads were shut down for hours, as thousands of people marched, chanting slogans and holding banners in solidarity with Gaza. The purpose wasn't just to express anger, it was to demand that governments take a stand to make the issue impossible to ignore. But shutdowns come with consequences. They draw global attention, yes, but they also test the patience of everyday citizens, cause economic disruption, and sometimes lead to clashes with police. Authorities often respond with arrests, dispersal orders, or curfews. For many activists, participating in a shutdown is a calculated risk, a choice between visibility and vulnerability. Now, why did Israel take such a strong stance this time? Several factors converge here. First, the ongoing conflict in Gaza has heightened Israel's security sensitivities. Any attempt to break the blockade, even symbolically, is viewed as a potential threat. Second, there's political pressure within Israel itself. Many factions demand firm action against any perceived challenge to national sovereignty. Third, the flotilla's global media coverage risks shaping international opinion, something Israel is keen to control. By intercepting and detaining activists quickly, it sends a message of authority and deterrence. This is not the first time such events have unfolded. Over the past decade, similar flotillas have been intercepted, often leading to diplomatic tension and public outcry. Each time, the pattern repeats. Activists set sail, Israel intervenes, global protests follow, and debates reignite over the balance between security and human rights. But this year, something different happened. The protests were more coordinated, more digital, and more global. Social media platforms amplified every arrest, every claim of mistreatment, every shutdown. In minutes, videos from portside detentions went viral, hashtags trended, and solidarity marches were planned across continents. This is the power of modern activism. Decentralized, fast-moving, and borderless. For Israel, managing this information war is as challenging as managing the physical blockade. When activists live-stream their detentions, the world sees one narrative. When governments issue official statements, they frame another. The truth often lies tangled between perception and policy. Let's also discuss the effects of these shutdowns, not just on traffic or commerce, but on public consciousness. Shutdowns force conversations. People stuck in traffic start asking questions. News channels pick up the story. Politicians are pressured to respond. It's disruptive by design, but also deeply symbolic. In a world of short attention spans, disruption becomes a language of urgency. However, shutdowns can also polarize. Supporters see them as brave acts of conscience. Critics see them as inconveniences or even provocations. Governments often use these disruptions to justify stronger policing or new protest regulations. It's a delicate balance between the right to dissent and the responsibility to maintain order. Zooming out, this event, Israel's action against Gaza activists and the wave of shutdowns that followed, is part of a larger global story. It's about how states assert security, how citizens resist through civil action, and how technology amplifies every move on both sides. Drones, live streams, AI-based surveillance, and digital communication now shape the battlefield of activism as much as the streets or seas do. So where does this leave us? On one side, a nation determined to secure its borders and protect itself from perceived threats. On the other, global activists demanding humanitarian access and challenging policies they see as unjust. Between them, a world watching, debating, and reacting through protests, media, and international diplomacy. Events like this remind us that in our hyper-connected world, no act is isolated. A naval interception can trigger global outrage. A city shutdown can spark political statements. Technology ensures that every story is told, retold, and contested in real time. As we reflect, the key questions remain. Can security ever justify isolation? Can activism ever justify disruption? And in a digital era, who truly controls the narrative? The state, the activist, or the algorithm? The story of Israel and the Gaza activists is not just a regional dispute. It's a lens into the future of protest, power, and public perception. It challenges us to think beyond binaries, beyond black and white, to the complex gray where truth, fear, and justice collide. Thank you for watching Beyond Binary. If you found this analysis informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the intersections of technology, geopolitics, and human action. Stay curious, stay informed, and remember, understanding is the first step to change.